Thank you so much for your time. So your reaction to this very significant development at the UN Security Council now voting for this non-binding resolution for a ceasefire and Prime Minister Netanyahu cancelling this planned visit to Washington?
Well, I think that the Americans are rightly perplexed at Netanyahu's reaction, and they see it as a ploy aimed at his domestic politics. Throughout this war, Netanyahu didn't behave really as an ally of the United States, and the Americans draw a distinction between Netanyahu and Israel. So I think that there is no point in his cancelling the visit of this delegation. He's catering to his extremists, to the positions of his extremists in the coalition. This is essentially what it is. Instead of attacking Rafah, he's attacking the American administration because he needs it for his political objectives. There is no sense in it. First, it is true that the resolution is not binding, but it is politically and morally very powerful. And Israel, by attacking the resolution, is disengaging itself from its ally. It's giving a tailwind to accusations against her in The Hague, and putting Israel in a strategic trap. I don't see the political purpose of it. The objective is not clear to anybody. You want to attack Rafah? Okay, go and try to coordinate with the Americans. It seems that he's laying the blame on the Americans for not being able to deliver the absolute victory that he has promised his political power base, because such a victory is inherently elusive. I mean, there is no way to win that war. And this is why he's trying to play politics with the Americans.
Important to point out here that Prime Minister Netanyahu has vowed to go into Rafah with or without the support of the United States. It is a threat that he has maintained. So help me understand what this means for Israel's war in real terms. Do you expect it and the government to comply with this UN Security Council resolution, despite the fact that it is indeed non-binding?
Well, he is not going to comply for the simple reason that the war has reduced its intensity. I mean, we are in a stage of the war where incursions to select objectives are being conducted, not an all-out war. So maybe he can proceed on a low level or low intensity war in a way that doesn't alienate the Americans too much. But the problem is not only Rafah. The problem is the war in the north, which is might explode every day, and this is the kind of war that he can't conduct without the Americans. The Minister of Defense is in the U.S. Asking for more munitions, among other things. So I think that the whole attitude of confronting the Americans instead of surfing with their interests, which are essentially Israel's interest, is working against the nation's security. Netanyahu has become a threat to Israel's security by conducting the war from the very first day within political domestic considerations more than catering to the strategic interest of Israel. The Biden
so help me understand what that means for. Help me understand what that means for his political future, because we're also coming into quite a critical week in Israel. There's going to be a controversial vote on the role of the ultra-Orthodox community in the military. And I want to understand exactly what this might mean for Netanyahu. What's your take on this? This vote will ultimately determine whether or not members of that religious community will be forced to also attend compulsory national service. This has been a controversial issue in Israel for some time now. How do you expect the vote to turn out, and what will it mean for Netanyahu? Could this perhaps signify a breaking point for him as well if it doesn't go his way?
Well, you know that a law that authorizes the exemption has expired last June, and some regulations that extended the exemption are to expire next week. And he is trying to pass a new law because this is what the Supreme Court has asked him to do. And he will try to pass a watered down law that keeps the exemption more or less in its current stage. You see, I don't believe that the coalition will dissolve because of this, for the simple reason that the Orthodox community doesn't have an alternative that is not Netanyahu. He will try, to maneuver parliament, try to square the circle. He is being in this business for quite a long time. He is the most politically proficient manipulator in Israeli politics, and the bottom line is that whatever law he passes will not change radically the situation. And he will survive a few, this is the way he has been acting throughout. The main thing is that they don't have an alternative. Are they going to form a government with the left, with the center left? Is the center left going to give them more than Netanyahu in terms of lavish budgets for their seminaries? So I think that he will survive politically. This is not where he will fall. I mean, this is not the point where Netanyahu will disappear from Israel's political life. It is up to liberal Israel in its protest, in its attempt to anticipate elections, for example. This is where the center left of Gantz, the general that joined the coalition and needs to leave it.
Right.
The moment he leaves it, perhaps we will see a more powerful protest, popular protest for new elections. And the pressure that is coming from the Americans as well,
right,
can be important in this whole effort to get rid of this government, which is a threat to the security of the country and to the relations with the United States.
So,
even
Shlomo,
Trump is subscribing to these critics of the Americans.
So let me ask you this. We've now seen this UN vote in the Security Council. We see increasing pressure on Prime Minister Netanyahu and the rift widening between Israel and the United States. Can you say at this point that we are at a turning point in this war?
I think we are. I think we definitely are. This is a crisis that where the Americans are conveying a powerful message that they disagree on the way Israel is conducting the war, that they think this is the moment to move to a political process. The time is of an essence because of the American elections. Biden needs to unite the Democratic Party behind him, and the progressive wing is increasing and is increasingly vociferous in its critique of Israel. and therefore Netanyahu will have to take notice of this. This is not a superficial crisis. This is something that is quite profound, and it doesn't have the support of Trump. Trump is repeating more or less the speech that Senator Schumer, the leader of the Democratic majority in the Senate, that called for early elections. Trump just said, "Finish this war. Move to a political process." This is what Trump said. So he doesn't really have a Republican alternative. America is fed up with this war, fed up particularly with Netanyahu, that doesn't behave as a loyal ally, and lacking in gratitude to America's political and military help in this war.